Hi, friends. It's noon. I'm here. I tried a different stand and that didn't work. So let me make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be and that my camera looks okay before I get in front of it and I'm upside down and sideways, which happens a lot. It's impressive how many different directions I can go, right? So even though I practice this, well, I'm not going to talk about it. We all know, right? I talk about it every week. I feel like a broken record. You would think I could do this. Oh, there I am. Here I am. Hi. What a weekend. My friend's daughter got married. We did all the wedding stuff. Oh, this is a Stampin' Up! Shirt that they gave us at an event that says, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. But it's in French. That's okay. I don't speak French. I don't know anyone that's French, but I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera down and I'm going to show you what I have because I have a couple of different things I want to show you with some of the online exclusives. And then in between, maybe I can tell you about the wedding. Okay, let me make it go this way a little bit. Okay, look, boom, 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 boom. I'm still not the way I like for these things, so I'm upside down, so I'll try to turn it for you. And remember to do that. This is the flowering zinnias. This is what I want to show you. In the designer series paper is Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Flirty Flamingo, Highland Heather, Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lolly, Melon Mambo, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Pumpkin Pie, and Real Red. And you should have a lot of those colors. So it's got pretty patterns to it. Excuse me. I may be a little tired from the wedding. It was crazy. Oh, look at that. So that is the Melon Mambo and Real Red put together. I like it. There's a pretty petal pink polka dot. And those are cute little flowers. I can't even remember if I've turned all this over and looked at it. Oh, this has two different patterns. Was one of them? Oh, this one I used on one of the cards I'm going to show you. And then here's those two patterns. So one has a floral on one side and a design on the other. So at a team event, and I wanted to show them as much of the zinnias as I could. So I have to turn that over unless I'm going to flip my camera, which I'm not going to do because I'll screw something up. And then it has the real pretty dies that go with it, which are these. And then some of the ones that we're going to use today. So these are the cards they did. They did this one where they cut out the edge of that designer series paper. And then we made a stand-up card. And one of my team members is like, I don't want to make a stand-up card. I'm like, that's totally fine. You don't have to. Oh, hi, Tanya. She's here. She's there to see me because I'm sure she's as tired as I am because we worked that wedding. And then I put one of the pretty butterflies. We were busy this weekend. It was a team effort, I am telling you. And then this one's stamped and colored. And I also made it a stand-up card where I colored the checks. We did that. So it's got all kinds of fun little elements in it. It has a zinnia die that goes with it. And so I also used that. So you could see kind of the zinnia die. Do you see that pattern on there? It's a really pretty die. Okay, so that's two of the zinnia cards they did. The third one is the one I'm going to show you how to create today. We use the beautiful butterflies, and these are in the January to December catalog, and they're called Paper Butterfly Accents. And there's several butterflies to them, so I've used them a lot because I like a good butterfly. Okay, so I hear feedback in this thing. Okay, it's totally off now. So hopefully you weren't hearing feedback. I'm sure my friend Tanya will correct me on any of my issues. Even though you can't see me, I do have lipstick on because that's a requirement of my friends that I do put my lipstick on. I haven't bought lipstick for the wedding. Okay, so this is the card they're going to make. I'm going to show you how I made. It says, sending flowers and thinking of you. I used the Textured Timber. This is an online exclusive. I used this one down here, which I thought was exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to show you how I made this pretty watercolor flower. Okay, do you see that? It's very three-dimensional. I used Mossy Meadow. And crushed curd. And you can tell I have some ink in the lids because that's how I did it. And I have my refills right here. Almost put that in the wrong spot. Yikes. And then I used pecan pie. So I cut these out of our watercolor paper. Okay? And I pre-cut them so you don't need to see me run stuff through the cut and emboss machine. I mean, I know that's super exciting and you really want to do it bad, but I'm not going to make you. So then I took a paper towel. I'm going to lay these on here. Then I have this that sits on my desk that says don't drink. I mean, not all my grandkids can read, but some of them can. And I want to make sure that no one gets poisoned when they're down here. Because as you can see, it's green. And so I'm going to wet these really good. I've got our water painter. And I could squeeze the water out of there. But that just takes too long, friends. Some days that's just too long. Okay, so now that they're good and wet, I'm going to go light to dark. I'm going to pull a little bit of that crushed curry off. I'm going to put it over those zinnia petals. And I can add more water, or I can quit. But if you've ever had a zinnia in your yard, the variety of color is great. So I like a little dark, a little light. And it's going to dry just a little bit lighter than what this is. I'm going to wet those one more time because I want to make sure my leaves are good and wet. I've got my Mossy Meadow. And if you have questions, I'm terrible at seeing them. First, I'll tell you hello if you're here, so hello. And I will answer your questions after. I'm just bad. I get concentrating on what I'm doing and I forget that you're there, except that I'm talking to you. I mean, I could stamp and talk to myself consistently. These images already have a little bit of texture to them. Do you see how they have some lines in them? And I'm just kind of, I want that darker color to kind of soak in those lines. And then my darkest color, I'm going to make sure that's wet, is my pumpkin pie. Okay, so now I'm going to sit these over to dry and create my card. I don't need these anymore, so I'm going to close them up so I don't accidentally make a mess. I know myself. I know myself. So I'm going to take this larger image. And I've got, this is 4 by 5 1/4 because I knew I wanted to mount it. So I'm going to put this over here. It's so cool. I live in the woods, so I love anything that's got a wood texture to it. Then these are the words that come in the zinnias. Sending flowers and thinking of you. For all of my friends who rock, did you see how I did that? And when I say that they rock, that's not that they're rock stars. It means that they rock their stamps, right? I forgot to do my butterfly. because there's lots of different sizes in that butterfly set, I used a smaller one on this one. I'm going to use a bigger one on this one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm kind of watercolor the edges. This isn't watercolor paper, so I don't want to get it as wet as I did the other ones. So I'm just going to go over with just a little bit, so that it just adds a little bit of color to the edge of my butterfly without getting it too wet. Because again, it's not watercolor paper, it's just thin paper. I just spilled my water everywhere, friends. I told you I'm a hazard. Okay, I always have towels because I'm a hazard. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Look, quick cleanup. The day's been saved. Nothing was damaged. And it's an excuse to mop the floor, right? Okay. So now I have a little water spot on there, but it's going to dry and it's going to be fine. So there's that. Now I'm going to turn this over and take my seal. I'm going to go around the edges. And this is that, it's called Neutral Polka Dot Trim. So it is from the online exclusives as part of the coffee set, which is also adorable. There's a video there if you want to see it. You can go back and look. And now I'm going to take a piece of crumb cake again. See, this is kind of like bubbling up a little bit. So I'm going to cheat. Sometimes I'll use a glue dot. This time I'm going to use a little bit of seal. It's just a little bit stiffer ribbon, but I don't want it to stick up. So I'm going to put a little seal on it. Then I'm going to take a piece of crumb cake and fold it in half. Stick my card down on the front. Okay. And because these take a minute to dry, you can either heat set them or set them aside and give yourself time. These I did earlier, so you didn't have to wait for them to dry. So I'm going to put this one down first, and I'm going to manipulate my petals. I'm not a fan of a flat flower, because God didn't make many flat flowers. There's always dimension of color. So I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to manipulate these. Do the same thing. Put that one down. And then here's my center. And I'm still going to rough it up a little bit. I'm going to put it down right there in the middle. Look how pretty that is. Is that not just... Now I have my leaves. And I put these down last. I'm going to stick them under. We're going to go this way. So pretty. And then we're going to add that butterfly. Oh, this is the one I did. This is the one I did with you guys. So I'll just use this one. I'm going to glue dot the butterfly on too. And then as I'm looking around on my space, I decorated the other flower with some pretty pearls. I mean, is that not lovely? Look. I mean, oh, I gotta turn it around. Not hard, and it did really well with that. Now I have another one to show you, because that's where my original idea started of watercoloring the flowers. was for a different one. When I saw the lilies, that's what I saw in my head. So then I had to create it. So there's my lily project. And here's the lilies. They're in the mini catalog. Easter lily. He is risen. Peace I give to you. God is good. And trust in the Lord with all your heart. That's the words. And then here's the dies. And they go around the images. And then there's a set of dies that just cuts out the big lily. And it is, we're going to see if I can find it. Right here. So when I saw this image, upside down for you, sorry. This is the one I was really intriguing to me. I was like, I want to know how to make that. And then I saw it in the box in my head. So these boxes I got for a class, and I just got them at Michael's, and they were like $1. So there's my box. I cut out these pieces, 2 leaves, 2 lilies. This is the center, and then here's the, okay. I watercolored them just like I did that daisy. I got them real wet, and I put the color on it. The colors that I used are Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, Gorgeous Grape, and Fresh Freesia. And I colored the flowers. I did that in advance for you so you wouldn't have to watch me watercolor flowers again. I mean, I showed you a minute ago, so I hated to just make you see the same thing over and over again. But I wanted to show you what I did that was a little bit different because I speckled this. I'll show you how I did that. So I took my finer tip blend brush and I wetted it and dipped it in here and then just speckled it. The wetter it is, the better it speckles. And I did that on all of it. I can do the green. The garden green can have its own speckle if we want it to. Can move these out of the way. Let's do the green. And then I used a little bit bigger water drops for it. Okay, so let me show you how I assembled the lily in my box. Move this out of the way. I love this glass mat. You only have a couple of days left. If you want to sign up to be a demonstrator to get the glass mat studio, well worth it. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. I'll set that right there so you can see it. Well, never mind, you can't. I would have to move it up here, and that's my workspace. Okay. I'm going to try to assemble this upside down. We'll see. So I went into my silver foil, and I used my distressed tile, and went in and did the silver foil, which anything with that foil is fantastic. So we love a good foil. I just spilled my water again. I'm never using water on a Facebook Live again, just so we're clear. This is the last watercolor technique I'm going to do ever in my whole life. So I'm just going to put, you can use whatever you want. I've used the terrible tape to stick these in. I've used glue dot. You can put green glue. It sticks really well in these little wooden things. but you can do it any way you want. So there it is in the little wood. Then I took my greeting. Here's my greeting. I can't get that in the center to save my life. Okay, and I tore it. I stamped it towards the edge in Memento. I can still see that that's a little bit wet, so I'm going to be super careful with it. You can heat set it. Just be patient and let it dry. I could have embossed it. I'm going to put that kind of up there in the corner. And I'm just going to run some seal, put a little seal on the side. They're not going nowhere. Okay, so there that is in there. And now I'm going to build my flower. Again, I do a little roughing up at the petals. It was hard to tell from pictures which petals went on first. You know, I kind of had to do a little bit of guessing of which way I wanted it to go. So for my flowers, I decided I would put this one down first. And I'm going to use a dimensional because I want it to stick up a little bit because I'm sticking stuff under it. I'm going to put the leaves under it and stuff. So I'm going to put it over here in the corner. Okay, and I've got a dimensional under it. You could also build your flower and add it in here after it's all done, but I already did it once, so I'm just going to put it right in here. And I'm going to do this, and then this is the one that goes down. It took me forever to figure that out. I'm not sure why, but you have 3 different parts to your lily. And if you're a lily fan, these smell so good when you get them in your house. Especially if you buy them closed up. As they open, they are so fragrant. Like you get those mixed bouquets at the store. I always try to get a lily in it if I can because it smells so good. Here's the little... I'm going to put that over the top. I mean, see, it's just not hard. So hopefully if you had been intimidated by this, you're going to say, this I can do. My mama's in memory care, and this is something, I got her a new thing to hang up on the wall that I can like put different things on. I'm going to clothespin it on there. They don't want anything above her bed that is in a frame, like a photograph, because if she were to knock it down and bonk her on the head, that would be bad. So I got her this macrame thing that I'm going to hang on her wall. I thought one of these lilies would be awfully pretty on there. I don't know that I'm going to put it in the frame because, again, we don't want her to bonk herself, but I thought that would be pretty just on the lily just hanging up there. So, I mean, with the shimmer in the background, and for $1 and a little bit of my time, because the frame was $1. Now, there's a lot of things I could do with this frame. Our tear-in tape fits on this side perfectly, and you can add a ribbon or whatever else you want to the tear-in tape. It adds a lot. And we've put ribbon on with it before. We had a ribbon we used a couple of years ago for a project that we cut in half and frayed real pretty. It was a white. So this was a soft side, and it had little fringes of the ribbon in it. So there you go, friends. There's a little watercolor magic. I'm putting a lid on my bottle, and then I'm not doing that again. Okay, there you go, friends. Thanks for joining me. I guess I need to go this way. It's upside down to me, which is murder. But thanks for joining me, and we will stamp again soon. Gosh, I hope you have a good week. My goal is to be back here again on Monday at noon. It will be March. Today's my granddaughter's birthday. Baby Sloan's 2. All right, friends, thanks for joining me. Bye.